All right, just pop something in the chat just so I know that you can hear us and also see the slide and maybe even see us too. Just drop something in the chat. Mm-mm.
Yep. Yep. For
Got
those
it?
of you looking for the chat, it's all at the bottom. Rachel says she's all good. Deborah says she's looking at the slideshow, so that's good.
Boom.
Got a
All
bunch
right,
of
we
people
are going
looking
to
to log
crush
on.
this. We are going to crush this out of the park. Okay, here we go. Oh, actually, let me, little housekeeping issues. So Q&A at any time, guys, you'll see a Q&A button on there as well. And for the Q&A, that's where you can put Q&A. And at the end, we're actually gonna have about 15-30 minutes, depending on how quickly we go through this. My goal is to get through this content as quickly as possible so that we can open this stuff up for Q&A and we can discuss what you guys need to do next. I've been spending, and I know Bill and Nick have been spending a ton of time in over the past week specifically, getting dialed in, listening, asking questions on what we need to do in order to help our clients and our agents grow their businesses during this time. If you know anything about me, back in the day, I had a recession that I had to deal with, and I crushed it. So I'm going to help you guys crush it too. So, boom, let's do it. All right, so what you guys need to be doing right now to grow your business. We're going to go over three things, okay? Ice, ice, baby. That's how I want you to remember it. Number one is identify, okay? Identify where you're at and what's going on, and we're going to cover that. Number two, communicate, okay? Communicating with your clients, communicating the right message. It's all about that communication, but it's a different type of communication. So we all have the question, how do I communicate now? What do I say? What's relevant? So we're going to go over that. And then number three, evolve. Okay. It's the question that every agent always asks when they get stuck. What do I do next? How do I do this? How do I move forward? Okay. And this is a completely customized presentation based on what I've learned over the past 15 years, but specifically over the last recession and how it relates to what we're dealing with now. Okay. Because right now, I think we can all agree, guys, um, we're in a pretty unique place. Wouldn't you agree? Bill, Nick, everybody?
Yes, very unique place, but it's a place that we can learn from and grow from.
Absolutely.
100%.
I take everything as an opportunity to grow. Um, I know one of the expressions that I used to have, it was kind of extreme, I guess, but it was if tomorrow, if I were to have my leg amputated, right? I know it already sounds extreme. I would look for what that opportunity is bringing me. Like, what can I do with that? How can I share my gift? Is God telling me that I need to be, um, overcoming this and helping other people overcome this as well? Or, what is it? What can I learn from this? How can I adapt? Like, because my life, we can all agree, if you like lose a leg or two, your life absolutely changes for the rest of your life. And we're kind of in that spot right now where everything is changing and nothing will be the same. So when people say business as usual, that is bullshit as usual because business will not be as usual. There's no usual anymore. It is right now where we define what happens next in our businesses and in the economy. And to push away all those outside influences that are trying to hold us back and think independently. And that's what this is all about. So at the end, I'll give you guys a copy of the slides. So if we do go quickly, don't be scared. All right, so is the sky falling? Put in the chat if you think the sky's falling or not. But for real, where are we now? So we're going to go over where we are now. We have stock market instability. We have inventory and days on market that are going to be increasing. We have airlines with a multi-billion-dollar bailout that is going to be huge. Everything that happens after that, shelter in place. We just got the orders in North Carolina that's starting tomorrow. I know that the UK and some other European countries have a virtual in place which is just a little bit more extreme than that. But my wife asked me today, she said, Jay, why don't we, if we have National Guard going in and helping out, if we really need to keep people in place and not moving around in order to keep an order, why don't we just do that? Why don't we have that happen? And I said, because if you think that there's fear and panic right now, imagine if that happened right away. So there's these little things that are happening before in order to not create fear and panic in our society, which is a great thing. But you guys need to understand that this is what's happening right now. Shelter in place, economy, and toilet paper. Everybody has a meme for toilet paper. How are you guys doing on toilet paper? Nick, Bill?
Doing good. I'm all stocked up.
Nick?
Yeah, same.
All right, cool. So post your address in the chat, guys. Nick and Bill, post your address in the chat.
Hey, listen, Jay, if you run out, just go get some baby wipes. There's other alternatives.
Oh, man, look at you. I like that. Creative, independent thinker, man.
Just don't flush them. That's all. You have to get a diaper genie also.
Hey, listen, brother. 11 years ago, I spent 5 weeks in India. End of story.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll explain that.
Enough said.
So what are we feeling right now? Are we feeling confused, right? We have uncertainty, unprepared, unscheduled. This is a big one that we don't hear a lot, but everybody's feeling this way. Whether you are, and actually this is interesting. My wife, she's thriving right now with her structure, and she is the most unstructured, unscheduled person. So she had to prepare for this, and she's more prepared than anyone else. But us that, we're usually structured and scheduled, when we get thrown into something where we don't know what to do and people tell us we have to stay in our house, now all of a sudden we start getting like bored and scared. And we even start developing bad habits. I don't know, anybody else eating too many Snickers? Right? Snickers is not your drug of choice. That's okay. So what's next? That's what we're wondering. What's next? So I got a poll, guys. So you're going to see this popping on your screen. What is wait, hold on. Actually, that one came up first. So, okay. You already had a poll up there. That's cool. So we're going to end that poll. That was what the future was going to, that's what the future was going to do. And hold on, let me get this other one out. All right. I guess we are forward thinking there.
I'm looking at the poll question.
Here it is. All right, struggles. This is the one that I wanted to ask, and I'm going to allow the panelists to vote as well. So, struggles in progress. See, this is what happens. This is real. This is live. I got to knock on my door. Hold on. Let's see who it is. Oh boy!
Can I show you my hair?
You got to show everybody your hair, bro. Oh my God, this kid's nuts.
I got blue and silver hair.
This
Love
is
it.
what we do at the Berubes when we get bored. Blue and silver hair. Awesome. I gotta go. I'm doing something.
Okay, bye.
Bye. Love you. Yeah.
That's Jay with his semi-virtual office. His office space down the street from his house. Actually, 20 feet from your house. Sorry.
Yeah. So, okay, I'll leave that poll up so that you guys can vote. And what do we got here? Consistency is reigning ahead. Mindset. Yeah. Consistency. That's a tough one. It really is. So what are you going to get today? Discover how to lead your clients and grow your database during this time. How to dispel the fear and become a motivating force. And how to provide stability and certainty to your clients while other agents are exiting the business. Because as a matter of fact, that will happen. And good, I see some people hitting lead gen in there. That's awesome, because we're going to show you how to do that too. Co-host, what's up? Bill Price, Nick McCree. Bill, introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about you, brother.
Well, if you don't know me, I've been selling real estate since '06. Been with Keller Williams, Allen Tate, and now EXP for the last 3 years. Best decision I made. I'm surrounded now by a group of leaders in Charlotte that are awesome realtors. I think we have the strongest group of realtors in Charlotte, bar none. So I'm just happy to be on the call and learn some stuff from you and contribute any way I can.
Cool. Nick?
Yeah, so for those of you who don't know me, my name is Nick McCree. I'm also a realtor here, now part of Bill's group here in Charlotte, and also have a marketing business that I've run, and I've taught many a class on social media and marketing in general. And my whole reason for being here is just because now more than ever, everyone, as Jay mentioned, is bored. We're all online. I'm that millennial realtor who's always going live, and I'm here to help you go live too.
Cool. Okay. Thank you, Nick. Thank you, Bill. You guys are awesome. That's why that's why I have you guys here, because you are of huge value to the audience. All right. So who am I? Just a little bit insane and a little bit driven. Some would say a lot driven. So I do what I do because I love giving back my skills. Sold a ton of homes, over 1,400 homes, managed over 3,000 properties, and I coach and I train. This is what I do now. And yeah, so that is me. Back in 2008, 2012, the Great Recession, right? All of these awful things that were happening. Some of us lived through this in our business, and it was a tough time. So, I felt that, and I was selling all this new construction, and then all of a sudden it stopped. It was like coronavirus in a way, because it was almost immediate. And then I had to ask myself, because I got really scared. I'm like, shit, what do I do? So it kind of felt like, right, not just my boat was sinking, but that shit was on fire. But not as cool as I just sounded. So I had two choices. Either I could do nothing or just take action. So kind of guy I am is either I will, if you know me, I will either do nothing, like literally do nothing on a situation. I'm extreme. Or I will take massive action and I will go all in on bananas. So that's what I decided to do. And it served me well, because during those years where agents were exiting the business, where people did not know what to do, I grew 25% year over year for those 4 years. And that was pretty amazing. And I'm going to share with you a little bit about how I did that. Carpe potestatum. As entrepreneurs, people, okay, whether you're a real estate agent or a property manager, any type of entrepreneur or a business owner, and Bill knows this, it is our job to identify and seize opportunities. Now, when I say seize opportunities, there's this buzz going around that I see where people say, well, no, people over profits. I get that, okay? People over profits. And we're not trying to profit on people in a negative way, okay? But it's our job to serve our customers. And to serve our customers is to ask them questions and to let them know that we're here to help them in any way possible. And that in no way is profiting in a negative way. It's by serving others. So that's what I mean by seizing opportunities. So identify, communicate, evolve. Let's dig into it. Any feedback yet so far, Nick or Bill? Anything you want to add?
That's great.
No, you're right on point.
Oh man, look at that. If I could just keep, let me record that and just keep replaying it over and over again.
I don't get carried away.
Yeah, you're right on point. You're right on point. All right, so step one, identify. We're going to be looking at these 6 things, okay? Industry trends and updates. Staying on top of what's going on right now. And the reason why we identify first is because we need to communicate these things to our clients, which is next. But we need to not just do that for them. We need to do it for us so we can see what these opportunities are, okay? Inventory, active, pending, and closed, all right? Keeping on top of the inventory either on a daily or a weekly basis and comparing that to where we were last year at the same time, okay? Very important. Could you guys hear me do that? Here, hold on.
Sounds delicious.
It reminds me of like a Pepsi commercial back in the late 80s or something. Days on market, showings, okay, unemployment rate, and real trends. And when I say unemployment rate, I don't mean right now because, most people are virtually unemployed. But I'm talking about moving forward in the future, because the unemployment rate is one of the biggest indicators to recession and also to opportunities with distressed properties. Okay. So what you're hearing right now, guys, is not fluff. This is like the real shit. This is the good stuff that you will see will reign true. Okay. Real trends is probably one of the best tools to stay on top of the distressed market and to see where those opportunities are. But it's not just distressed properties. I'm going to show you a bunch of other opportunities as well. All right, so industry trends and updates. By understanding what is going on right now, you're able to build your authority and create certainty. So what did we say before, guys, in that poll? Uncertainty and instability. This is one of the problems. This is one of the feelings that we have right now. But you're going to be able to create certainty with your clients and build authority by understanding what those industry trends are. Hey, Bill, what are a couple of the industry trends that you're seeing right now that you're really paying attention to?
Well, what we're seeing right now is all our clients want to hold off from listing, right? They don't think it's a good time to list. So everything's on hold. So how do we combat that trend right there? Mortgage rates are jumped up too. So that's going to frighten buyers away. So sellers don't want to put their house on the market right now because they're afraid of having people come over. And also because of the volatility in the market, our interest rates jumped, which is pushing buyers away.
Got it. So we got less demand, but we also have less supply that's on the market. But do we have how much, have you been looking to see how sales have been affected? I mean, closings that were lined up, a lot of those still closed, but I know a lot of people that are, what's that?
It's too early to really track it right now. Showings is down a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's a good point that it might be too early because, Craig LePage had a great video. For those who don't know, Craig is a big realtor down in Charlotte, has a big team, and is very influential in kind of growing our organization. And Craig posted a great video yesterday saying that closings are still, at normal numbers, peak numbers here in March so far, but that's so far. And as you just said, Bill, that's before all of this uncertainty really has, hit full effect. And now, in the future, showings are way down. Now you have mandatory stay-in-place measures being taken. And so, to be able to predict the next couple of weeks, I think is going to be night and day.
Yeah. And one thing I want to point out, Jay, now this is speculation from Bill Price. Once this gets lifted, I think we're going to get real busy again. I really do. It's not like it's the worst time this could really happen. It was like November, December, and we could cripple the market for, 5-6 months. I think once we all get back to work, and maybe it's 4 weeks from now, 6 weeks from now, you'll see that showings will be up, open houses will be packed. So we just got to hold on through the next month.
Yeah. And if you were watching the news last night, Easter, it's going to be Easter. If you guys watched the news last night, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So yes, it's showings are down, pendings are down, and we have in normal circumstances, a 90-day cycle. So, this is how it goes. You do your lead gen, and then you nurture those leads, and you put them under contract, and then you have closings, paychecks. Well, if you're not doing the first part, which I know that, that was some of the struggles in the poll that I saw, that without doing the lead gen, well, what's happening to your pipeline? And if you continue to not do that lead gen, we have to warn people, or else it's going to be 6, 8, 9 months until we do see a paycheck and start having consistency again. So today we are going to prepare you so that you are not in that position. Okay. Boom. Inventory, active pending close. We were just talking about that. Pendings are down, showings are down. I mean, because you can't leave. And this is all across the country, obviously. so we have to figure out, and we're going to talk about this in Evolve. We have to figure out how to get properties under contract without physically being there. And as long as other operations are open to supplement, I know what's his name? Preston. Preston posted today that that a home inspection is one of the necessary allowable activities. I don't know what's the technical word for that. You remember?
Yeah, the
No.
special people, I forget their it starts with an E.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's a necessary thing. So
Yeah.
so with that, you know that a lot of these supportive services are still taking place. And I can tell you, when I was in Florida, I sold 60% of my homes to people I never met and that I never went to their properties. So this is still can be business as not usual, but we're going to be replacing that word. Okay, and this is how we evolve. Days on market, you have to look, see if they're increasing or decreasing, and what does it mean? So in 30 or 60 days from now, but I want you to be thinking about this. Start thinking about 120 days, 180 days from now, what the possibilities could be. Now, there's only so many different possibilities with days on market. They could either go up, down, or stay the same. So if they do go up and we have an increased inventory, you have to think about how that's going to affect you and what you're going to do about it. It's all about knowing what to think about and what to evaluate so that you can make the decision and then you can take the action. And that's why we're doing that in this order, guys. Showings, showing time has specific, on our call yesterday, we were on a call a couple of days ago actually with showing time will give you statistics for showings within specific price points, so you can actually break down and see how many showings are taking place. How are you guys, Bill and Nick, how are you guys seeing how many showings are happening?
Well, none right now. It was busy up until today. So it was like normal work for me. People that were out there looking to look, they were still looking.
Well, essentially, what I've been doing as well is, sometimes you go check out a house, and the price point is around 200,000. It's in a great spot. It's a great value. Something that should have 10, 15 showings over the next couple of days, and it's got one, or none, right? So as far as checking it, you see a house that for some reason you're like, man, this is perfect. Beautiful interior, amazing backyard. It fits the bill. It's the right price point. This thing should have on a normal day at least a couple showings, and it has none. That to me, and I've seen that on a bunch of properties. Go schedule showings them through the MLS through Showing Time, and you'll see that they're all almost completely blank canvas.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we're going to show you how you can protect yourself, enable and be a forward thinker and a first mover.
And Jay, Carla says in the chat, the word is essential. Thanks, Carla. I knew it started with an E. Essential.
Good job, Carla.
One thing I am not is a wordsmith. So thank you, Carla. All right, here we go. Unemployment rate. This is one of the biggest indicators of economic growth, and real trends. Again, staying up to date with the distressed property market and trends within the industry as a whole. So this is identify. This is the really the briefest portion of this, because it's really about what you do with the information. So we're going to go over this then on communicate. Let me check that poll. I think that there was for calling your clients. Yeah. So let me relaunch this poll as well. Hold on. No, I don't want to. Yeah, actually, all right. So do this. Even if you voted before, we have more people on right now, and I want to get some accurate results here of how many people are calling your clients on for 2 hours a day consistently. And these are the people that know, like, and trust you, or even the people that don't know, like, and trust you yet. So we're going to show you how to do that. Okay, we're going to show you absolutely how to do that. So I'm going to go over my question for you: strengthen your bond, build rapport, asking the right questions, what they need, setting expectations, and being honest. Boom. Here we go. So, so here's the question for you guys. So you may ask, and I was watching a Tony Robbins video. It was a few years ago. Well, no, several years ago. It was when he was advising Bill Clinton when he was in presidency, and Bill Clinton, like I'm on a first name basis with him. Bill contacted Tony Robbins the day before he was getting impeached. So he calls Tony Robbins and he said, "Hey, Tony, I'm getting I have a question for you. I'm getting impeached tomorrow. You know, what should I do?" You know, so Tony's like, "Well, shit, you should have called me before, you know, but you're asking the wrong question. It's not what should you do? What do you want?" That's always the question that you should be asking yourself, because you first have to know what you want before you know which actions. Think about when anyone's building a business. I was just dealing with this today with one of my remote team members. We were talking about, she was asking me if I wanted to implement these certain strategies. And I said, listen, we have to get back and we have to review our second quarter plan first and figure out what those results that we want to achieve are going to be, because we have to reevaluate. Then we can think about what specific action steps that we have to take. All right, I'm going to end that poll. Let me finish that and get that thing out of my face. So then we have to know which specific action steps that we want to take. So can you guys relate? Can you see how that applies? Bill, Nick?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. Oh, hold on, let me get back to you. Boom. So
I will say too, just if you wanted me to add something there, as far as talking about what people want, I think it's often good to maybe ask some open-ended questions and kind of start that conversation. I called a couple of my clients yesterday, people that I've been speaking with, and was relaying some news about, you know, what's going to be happening with this, you know, self-quarantine and mandatory kind of stay in place order that's going to be happening here. And you know, I got a bunch of different responses. Some people are like, screw it, you know, I can, you know, I'm still going to go out and do my thing. And I'm like, look, you know, you really should be safe. There's, well, I have to, you know, I'm an essential employee and I still got to provide and do these things for my family and et cetera, et cetera. And they're, you know, still wanting to go look at houses, and I'm just, well, I can't. But it's good to know that you want to. So what I can do is this, right? What I can do is show you, you know, homes that have Matterport tours, or do a virtual listing presentation, or walk through some houses online, or set up a Zoom call, things like that. So there's always a solution, but it's good to kind of get those feelers out, especially when dealing with your clients, because sometimes, you know, some people, they will tell you what they want to do and how they want to do it. And as Bill Price would say, every situation is able to be massaged, right, Bill?
There's solutions for everything. Always a solution. That's why we're here today, and that's why we're going to be here, you know, every week for here on out. We're going to find solutions, how we work together, and be successful.
See, I knew you guys were smart, and that's why I wanted you on here, because you guys are covering things that we're going to be covering in this slideshow. So I'm really glad. This is like validating. This is really proofing. So thank you. Come on, guys. I'm giving you shit. Thank you.
I believed every word of it.
I know. So how are you dealing with the crisis? So this is your script. This is your new script. To strengthen the bond, you first have to go in and you have to ease the tension, right? So, and we all pretty much do this well. This part is what we do well. So it's like, hey, how you doing? Like, what's going on? Tell me, like, what's going on in your life? And this is that rapport build in place, okay? But then you have to ask those right questions. So ask specifically, say, hey, so what's happening in your state? Okay, so find out specifically what's going on with them and their circumstance. And how are you preparing for the future? See, this question, it leads into real estate related question, because they look at you as the authority, okay? And that's why you have to know and you have to identify. That's why we covered that first. but they look to you as the authority in the market, and you ask them, hey, how are you preparing for the future? What's important to you? Think about someone who they have a $600,000 house and they went under contract, put down 50 grand on another home that they're going to buy. They're supposed to close in 2 weeks from now, but they were really counting on getting their home sold in order, and because they won't be able to hold their current home for too long. Like that's their situation. There's a hypothetical situation, but think about it. What happens now? They're in that very difficult situation that they're going to be asking you for advice. And you need to ask them, say, well, what is it that you want? What are you looking for? Let's think about what those possibilities are. Let's talk through them. Too many times as real estate agents, we just try to give advice, but don't give advice. Find out what somebody wants, ask them those questions, and find out how they're preparing for the future so that you can find out what they need and how to help them. Ask them what they need. What do you need the most right now? Right now, what do you need the most of? Okay, this shows that you care, and it also allows you to solve a problem because they'll tell you what the problem is. And then you can ask them more specifically, hey, who do you know that needs some information or needs a plan? Just let me know so I can be here for you. They don't want you to be their solution for toilet paper rolls, okay? Like, they don't want you to bring them a 6-pack of toilet paper. That's not what you're there for. You are there as their professional, as their trusted advisor who can help them out of their biggest financial decision, okay? And that's what you're there for. What are your plans? Who do you know? Set the expectations. Taking this time, learn and prepare for when the quarantine, that's what it is, the quarantine. For when the quarantine is over, you're encouraging them. You're not hard selling anybody. You're just asking them questions. You just need to know what's going on so you can really help them and help their friends. And they're going to appreciate it more than you know. And this is an opportunity for everyone to learn and grow. I know that. So drop something in the chat, guys. Who has learned something and who has grown over the past couple of weeks? I know me, Nick, Bill.
100%.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
When you have the time to focus on your own business. I said this yesterday on a live Zoom call with Amanda Williams. I said something we need to realize right now as realtors is that not only are we looked at as the leader and the one that is going to basically be educating our client base and keeping them in the know, but we also need to be focused on our own business and improving ourselves. And so this is a great opportunity for everyone to kind of recalibrate, is the word I've been using. Recalibrate your mindset, your business, and really get yourself set for, as when Bill said, basically when this thing, finally does pass over, who knows when, but when it does, I agree with him. I do think that the market is going to heat up rapidly. And you're going to see an influx, a wave of buyers who have been kind of waiting, and there's going to be a lot of movement happening. So it's all about preparing for that moment, and when that does happen, when it comes back to normal. And now is the time to, like I said, kind of re-engage and recalibrate how you want to get focused for, when this thing ends.
Let me ask you a question, Nick. This is going to be a tough question for you. Okay. What happens if it doesn't?
What happens if what doesn't?
If it doesn't heat up, if it doesn't go back to quote unquote normal, what happens?
Well, I think that with any high or any low, that, the darkest night, the sun rises again, in the morning. So, if we're saying it'll never get back to normal, I don't think that's, reasonable either. I think at the minimum, the housing market will get back to, at least where we were at before, because there are a lot of people who, the stock market's already gone back up a little bit. You have positive signs, that this, will eventually end sooner rather than later. If it doesn't, if it extends longer than we think, you're right. I mean, this could get, a lot worse and everything. But again, I think the idea is that if this does seem to improve to a certain point where people say, okay, maybe it's still around, but they release some of the restrictions and things can kind of get back to somewhat business as usual. I think that you're going to see a lot of people who are going to be anxious to get into the market quickly rather than be patient. There's a lot of people who are already kind of antsy about getting back out there. At least I see that, I feel it, and I think plenty of us can see that happening as well.
Yeah,
Hey, can I chime in?
please do. Yeah.
Okay, everyone listen up. I've been through this in 2009. Get the right mindset. So all the bullshit I'm gonna put aside right now. Get the right mindset. Your clients need to hear your confidence in your voice that everything's gonna be okay. And if it gets worse, so what? Boo-hoo, it's gonna get worse. Dig down deep and go out there and do what it takes to be successful. A bunch of us got through this in 2009. We will again. So let's not dwell on how hard it's going to get. Man, if it gets real hard and shit hits fan, so what? The strong will survive. So what? You're going to be strong. You're going to figure out different ways how to survive in this market. I mean, that's whatever it is. I don't care if it's, open houses, social media, networking, whatever it is, talking to your clients every day. Let's just dwell on moving forward and how we're going to solve the problem. Let's not worry about the what ifs, because we're going to provide all the what if scenarios and all the courses you guys need to take, the direction you need to take to be successful. I am positive that the world is not going to end, guys. We're going to come out of this. It may be 1 month or 6 months, and we're all going to survive. We're going to be fine.
We're not all going to survive, Bill. We had 43% of real estate agents get out of the business over the course of the last Great Recession.
And I'm referring to the people on the call.
Yeah.
I will, whoever's on the call today, right now, take down my number, 704-287-0618, and I will help you survive through this. It's not 43,000 people we have on the call. Otherwise, I wouldn't say that. But
Bill's absolutely correct. Bill's absolutely correct. It's the mindset. So you have to be, just know that if you came onto the call and started, watching the webinar and, was thinking that there was going to be a bunch of fluff about how everything is going to be okay tomorrow. We don't know that. We don't know what is going to be. The world's not going to end. I mean, I doubt it. But here's the thing. We have to be prepared to adapt. We have to be prepared to adapt. So just have that mindset that you need to be prepared and be diligent, because now is a huge opportunity. All right, cool. So be honest with them. All right, be honest, be strong, but be honest. The power is in influencing others in order to be prepared. So, for example, someone may ask you, hey, what's going to happen in the next couple of weeks? Don't tell them everything's going to be fine, but don't tell them that the world's going to end. You don't have to tell them the sky's going to fall. The answer is you don't know. All you know is what you know right now, which is a lot more than they do. So help share that information. Okay, this is why we identify and then communicate. You help share that information, they're going to respect you. Well, then what would happen if this happened? Well, this would probably happen from there. So there's a lot of different possible situations, but they want you to talk through it. And if you're there for them and you help talk them through it and you're honest with them, that's what matters. Okay, that's what matters. Be a motivating force. Again, don't give them doom and gloom, but also don't give them false expectations. Be a motivating force. You tell them, say, hey, look, no matter what, I got your back. I got your back, and this is what happened last time we had a great recession, right? This is what happened. I'm not saying we're going in that direction, but I'm saying that the people who stuck with me, I had their back and they got through it. So we're going to get through this together, okay? And this is what I'm going to do for you. So you be a motivating force. Be the solution to their problem, okay? So how do we evolve? What do we need to do in the next steps, okay? And where and what do we have to be prepared for? I think this is where everybody's going to get some awesome insight, and I know Bill and Nick have a lot to share about this as well. But I've been compiling from top industry leaders and also top entrepreneurial leaders on what their feeling is going to be and how we are going to evolve, and this is where we are here. So, who here would like to know what to do next in their business? Okay, feel free to drop something in the chat. If you have any questions, you can put it in the Q&A as well. So evolve. We're going to talk about the shifting mindset, new tech tools and trainings that you need to be thinking about and implementing in your business. Okay, because it's always like the how. How do I do this? We're going to show you how. We're going to show you how. Leverage remote teams. We're going to show you how. Becoming a virtual agent. We're going to show you how. New revenue streams. Creating new revenue streams. We're going to show you how. And think of yourself as an entrepreneur and a business owner rather than simply a real estate agent or a property manager. Okay, because that's what you are. You're an entrepreneur and a business owner. And we don't always think that getting into the business. I know I didn't. I was bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, and I'm like, I'm a real estate agent. I don't know what that means, but I know that all I have to do is take a class for 44 hours, and then I'm going to be licensed to go sell someone's most valuable asset. So let me go do that, which I was not qualified to do because I was only taking a class. But as I learned and as I growed and I started to listen, that's when I understood that I was an entrepreneur and I had to build a business. Okay.
And Jay, you brought up a good point. Most valuable asset. Everyone's house is their most valuable asset. So we have to, understand that moving forward with our clients. I mean, it's very, very stressful situation when we're talking about a house.
Absolutely. Yeah. This is the time. I was telling my wife the other day, we were at the table, and I don't know what made me think of this, but I said, this is a great opportunity because the whole world seems to be slowing down, right? You guys get that feeling, right? Like everything's slowing down. I feel like I'm finally able to catch up. And this is the opportunity, and that's how I feel. I'm finally able to catch up on the things that I wanted to catch up on in order to propel my business forward and to help other people at the same time. And when we start thinking of ourselves as business people and entrepreneurs, this is what sets us up to be successful long term. Because I can tell you, people who are just a real estate agent before, okay, and if you were just a real estate agent before, that's okay. You're going to adapt into an entrepreneur and a business owner way of thought. So shift your mindset, be forward thinking, okay? We're going to talk about some of these other things, but shifting mindset was the main point there. So new tech tools and training. We all know Zoom, okay? Zoom stock has gone up tremendously, I'm sure, because now everybody knows Zoom, even people who didn't know Zoom before. We're going to talk about how to use Slack. So what Slack is a tool that you can use with your team, but you can also build a team this way too. So Bill, I want you to think about it this way too. With your downline and with your Bill Price Realty Group, you guys can have a Slack channel, okay, with different subtopics in there. It's an app for the phone, and it also has desktop, and you can communicate in a very efficient manner that way. And all of those conversations are logged and segmented and archived. So, like for example, you want something to happen and you want everybody to see it, you can just put it in the Slack channel. It's actually super easy. And you guys know Matthew Tringali. Matthew got me starting to use that, and it's super efficient. So as you're building teams, whether you're building a team, a downline, whether you are just building a internal network of the most valuable players in your real estate business, and that might be your inspectors and your lenders, your escrow agents, whoever that is, You have a Slack channel, a way of communication. It's a very efficient manner. It's a lot better than just email as well. We're going to show you how to use Zoom in your business. Voxer is a walkie-talkie app. If you ask Nick how I feel about Voxer, it's like I own stock in Voxer, which I don't. I scream from the rooftops how much I love it. If you look at my phone, we have this thing, screen time. When Nick asked me about Voxer one time, we were driving, and I said, you know what? Let me check my screen time. And I said, okay, since I started using Voxer, guess how many minutes I spoke on the phone that week over the course of 7 days on the telephone, right? Nick, how much was it? Remember?
It was like 8 minutes.
It was like 8 minutes, yeah.
And 7 were with Bill Price.
Yeah, they probably were. Voxer is a very efficient way to communicate with your team and high level people in your organization. So me, Nick, Bill, I called you guys NIL. It's like the super force combining you guys. But yeah, we Voxer back and forth. Other partners that I have, we Voxer back and forth. It's just a super easy way to communicate. Most of us are doing our paperwork digitally now, but if you're not, you really need to start. You really need to start doing that and getting involved. And then Nick, you were talking about Matterport earlier, and we're going to talk about how to use Matterport for virtual showings.
Yeah, I'm sure Matterport's stock has gone way up too.
Yeah. So you're thinking, Nick, probably the same way I am. If you have a Matterport, okay. So Nick, can you explain what Matterport is?
Yeah, so Matterport, I'm sure you guys have seen it, is that 3D kind of digital print of a house where you can click and kind of walk through each room as if you were there virtually on your screen. So it's super helpful for times like this when you need it. There's a guy that we use here in Charlotte, Lance Duguay, who has a Matterport business, and he takes all the pictures and he goes through, and it's a 360-degree camera, so you can see everything in the house as if you were there. It's awesome.
Yeah. And especially in highly competitive markets, but even in regular markets, think about over the past several years, how many times have you had a customer contact you, one of your clients, one of your buyers, and they say, hey, I want to go see this house. Instead of you finding it for them, like they're like, hey, look, I want to go see this house. And it actually ends up being the house that they want to buy. Well, most of the time it's because it has really good pictures, but really it usually has a virtual tour or a Matterport link that is above all better than any other ones that you've seen on the market, because it allows that person to really feel and be inside that property, where you can work virtually and you can have buyers buy sight unseen. I know when I moved to Charlotte, like, I don't know, 8 months ago now, I bought my house sight unseen. Didn't have to see it. Had a really good tour, and I had somebody that was on the ground up here go take a look at it and send me another virtual tour. So using these tools, these are going to keep you ahead and keep you forward thinking. I was sharing yesterday on a I'll mention it right now, but I want Bill to talk about this a little bit more, and I think it's actually coming up. So why don't I wait for that then? So leveraging remote teams, so they're capable of more than you think. When I had a really closed mind to remote team members. And when I say remote team members, I'm talking about virtual assistants in Philippines, Nicaragua, South America, like all over the world. And I had this way of thinking that they were only capable of so much, until my friend and one of my business partners, he opened my eyes and he said, Jay, these are people, professionals, that just happen to be in another country with different employment opportunities and different wages. And if you hire right, just like if you're hiring locally, if you're hiring right, you will be successful. If you're hiring and training right, you will be successful. Actually, so the thing right above where it says capable of more than you think, that's systems, hiring, integrate, and train, which is actually it's in SHIT is the acronym. I didn't realize that. Systems, hiring, integrate, and train. If you do those things the right way, then you will be successful whether your team member is on the ground or if your team member is somewhere in another country or on the moon. As long as you can communicate with them, you have the systems in place, and you train, and you have good communication. But even if you have somebody local, if you don't train them right or if you don't have systems, you're going to fail. You know how many years I was awful at hiring? Probably 10 or more. I was really bad until I got my eyes opened. Now I have 5 virtual team members in, 4 in the Philippines and 1 in Romania.
Wow.
Yeah. This leverages your time completely, which allows you to put gasoline on your fire. So what do I mean by that? If you're really good at something in your job that you love, which should not be paperwork and inputting listings and running around putting on lock boxes and everything like that. It should be, if you're in sales, okay, if you're in real estate or property management, it should be talking to people. It should be communicating. That's lead gen. So speaking to people and doing lead generation, and this completely leverages your time because you're allowed to do what you're really good at and what you love to do, which prevents procrastination. So why do we not do something? We usually don't do something because it's uncomfortable. So a lot of things are uncomfortable we're not good at. So I would write down a list, guys, of 5 things in your business that you're not good at. And it's okay to not be good at stuff, okay? Nobody's good at everything. Write 5 things that you're not good at that you really would want somebody else to do. But do not write down lead gen, okay? Because you need to be doing that. Do not outsource that. You can outsource additional lead gen if you're already making calls yourself and doing your own, but do not outsource that. Becoming a virtual agent. Bill, you want to talk about remote listing presentations? I know you just did something remarkable.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that more next week. So anyone that knows me on the call, I am very old school. That's why Nick and I, formed our group. He's new school, I'm old school. Put us together. Hopefully we be successful. So last week I had 2 clients say, "Hey, listen, man, love you. Like to meet you, like to see you again, but with this coronavirus, we don't want you at our house." So I said, "Well, listen," I said, "this could blow over in a month. It could be 3 months, whatever it is. Let's just be on top of our business." So I put together a virtual listing presentation, which is not me at all. And I called them up. I said, "Listen, guys, I have a presentation." I said, "It's something new. It's going to be on a Zoom call. And we're going to go through why you should hire me, why you should hire EXP, why you should look at this now, not put it on hold. If we're going to list this house, let's be ready to list it. Let's educate you now on the value of your house." And I went through the whole presentation with the under contracts, the closed, the actives. And I even brought them into the MLS and showed them pictures of their competition. And they really liked it. And I got hired. So the next week, we're going to talk more about that. And I'll put a presentation together for everyone.
And it's all how you frame the conversation. Years ago, this was probably about 7-8 years ago. I was prospecting, and I was at a big box brokerage, and I had this lead who was up in, I think, Connecticut, which is irrelevant to the conversation, but he was up in Connecticut and I was in Florida, and he said, "Yeah, I'm coming down in a couple of weeks," and it was an almost $4 million home. It was like 3.6. And he said, "Yeah, I'm coming down in a couple of weeks. I'll meet you then." And I said, "Absolutely, cool. Let's do this. Let's put something in the calendar. Let's meet then. But let's do this first," because I found this really effective with many of my clients. 2 weeks is kind of a lot of time in between this interaction. So I have a setup where I'm going to send you a link, and you just click on the link, and we'll be able to introduce ourselves because face to face is so important. And I'll be able to show you some of the things that we're going to go over. This way, you have time to digest that information, think of additional questions I can guarantee you wouldn't have thought of ahead of time, which ultimately is going to net you more money, collapse time, and get you what you want. So who the fuck's going to say no to that? You know what I mean? Like, people don't say no to that. It's and actually I got the listing before I met him face to face. I did meet him 2 weeks later, but I got the listing signed the next day. Virtual showings we were talking about, with using Matterport and other things. Now here's something that I predict that we are going to see. Something called CodeBox, which is already used in property management. CodeBox, what it does is it allows consumers, buyers, to access properties without anyone else being there. And I'm going to tell you how it works because I know what everybody thinks right immediately, right? Like, whoa, can't do that. Like, huge liability issue, you can't do that. And you have to be there to sell them, right? Well, the way that most agents sell, right? The agents that are going to be exiting the business, we don't want them to be there anyway. So a code box is used in property management or something similar, and they call in and and then they will get a verification code that works for an hour window that they're supposed to be there, and they also will take they have to take a ID, so a government issued ID before they can go, and they take a credit card, and they charge it for 1 cent, and if there's damages in the property, then they refund it. Now the details on that don't matter as much right now because that can be modified and evolved as time goes. But I see in the future, I see more of that happening as we really start to scale and we see a separation in our business. Outsourced inspections. This is also something that happens but not just inspections. I mean, checkups on properties during the listing, running, keys, lockbox, like all of those running activities. I see a larger solution nationwide to solve that problem where one company, and I'm actually going to talk to this company that I know already within property management, and look at that opportunity because somebody can do all of those running activities for high producing agents, and it's going to be a minimal fee, and it's somebody that you can trust. So I see that happening more in sales in the future. Join a virtual brokerage. EXP is the only virtual brokerage right now, and I'm with EXP now. I'm on Bill and Nick's downline. I'm not promoting EXP if you're not an EXP agent. I'm not telling you to go sign up with them, but if you are interested, I can tell you that all of the best, this is the trend, and I'm not selling you on it, but the trend is all of the best top real estate agents and brokers are moving over to the EXP model. Chasten Miles, Ricky Caruth, Kyle Whistle, the names are endless. There's so many top producers, coaches, brokerages that are moving over to that model. There's a lot of benefits. So if that is something,
I think there's a lot of people that see it in a time like this as well, definitely. But I think all of us just in general, as a virtual agent, I think what you're saying is that even if, the opportunity of a company like EXP perhaps is not for you, that definitely just all of us in any of our business, should just look at how am I prepared to run my business virtually? Because it's something that, it doesn't just take, something like COVID-19 to make this happen. As you mentioned, stuff suddenly people like getting put out of work or, a downturn in the market, stuff like that. Are you prepared to adapt and work virtually or just be able to make a quick change in your business? I think for all of us, that is so important to just have that capability. And it's something that I've appreciated, and I know Bill has as well. So,
yeah, certainly. So becoming a virtual agent, there we go. New revenue streams. Hey, who wants to know how to make more money and different ways to do that? Everybody does. So these are new opportunities that you're looking at right now. Absentee owner. Absentee owners, if you're not contacting them already, those are people who live in another state but own a property in your state. And think of the lack of control that we all feel right now when we live in our house. Okay. Now, people that live in another state than their property is in, there's a lot more uncertainty that they're feeling, and there's a lot less people calling them. So that's going to be a big opportunity. Agents exiting the business, huge opportunity. I know most people don't think of this, but you're going to have a lot of agents exiting the business, and it's your job to identify who they are and present them with an opportunity. And what's the opportunity? Well, what's a win-win, right? Maybe it's taking over their database and working them in such a way that is going to build them more income and give them more time than they would normally have without you being involved. And that could be a generous referral fee. It could be working hand in hand with them, whatever it is. But agents that are exiting the business, you should be looking hard at that. Be thinking about who around you might be exiting the business. Distressed properties. This is going to take a little while. My estimate is probably somewhere around 9 months. We'll start seeing more of a trend on distressed properties, but it will happen. It will happen. And but I don't know how long, and I don't know how bad. But you need to keep your eyes open and identify where those opportunities are with the tools that we had went over before. Homeowners associations and new construction. Well, let's talk about new construction. What's happening with people that would be buying new construction, especially if we have prices go down, we're going to have investors that are going to see opportunities with new construction, and they're going to want to, they're going to need a realtor to refer that business to, because most people that work on site don't sell resale. So that's another method. And then what I call the Berube method is incorporating property management and sales and marrying those, which is a huge opportunity. And mark my words on this one, what we're experiencing right now is going to turn our industry into more of a housing industry. Not a real estate sales, not property management, but housing. Because there's a huge opportunity for both real estate sales agents and property managers. And how do I know this? Because I am one. And I've been one for 15 years. And I've seen it. But this is the opportunity where this is going to happen, where we'll be able to build more income by incorporating the two of those and build more trust. Because this is the next level to take you as the trusted advisor in those relationships. And then there's a link there if you want to, I don't know if you can copy and paste that or just write it down. Nick, can you type that out in the chat? I have a 3 o'clock today webinar with Tony Klein, one of the leaders in the property management industry, and we're going to be talking about just this. So if you're interested in that, join that. It's going to be off the chain.
I know Bill had something to say. I'm trying to type.
All right, go ahead, Bill.
Yeah, so basically, with the market down so much, people with money will be looking to investment properties. So keep that in mind. When people lose a ton of money in their stocks, they always look to real estate. There's always a different avenue. We just got to keep that in mind. So Jay, I'll let you keep going, and you're driving the call today. So let's move forward.
Yeah. Yep, great point, because the revenue streams and the investment possibilities, we're going to start seeing a lot more acquisitions happening. I don't know what the timing is going to be on that, because there's no perfect timing, but you're absolutely right, both ends there. Here's the deal though, you have to be consistent in whatever you do. Have to be consistent. If you're not going to be consistent, then you're not going to get the best results. So just do your best to be consistent and stick with us, and we will keep you consistent. Here's the mindset shift, right? Business as usual. Nope, it's not business as usual. There's nothing usual about this, Okay, nothing usual about this. Um, Take your mindset, move it from that to becoming a first mover, okay? An action taker, somebody who is focused on being an entrepreneur, a business person, which is basically what you're doing now. It's just changing the mindset, okay? And then when you change that mindset, you'll change activities, and then you'll be on your way to building a recession-proof business. Nobody will take you out. So, did you guys learn something today? Hey, everybody, right? Everybody, boom, learn something today. Rally the troops. So what should you do now? These are the things. Grow and build your bonds in your database. Zoom call for all your clients daily to update. So you can do it daily or weekly, but think about doing this. Think about having a Zoom conference call or a Facebook group. I wrote support group, but a Facebook group or something that gets us away from the angst that we're feeling right now of not being like social distancing is hard because one of the primary needs that we have in life is the need for connection. And the connection that we're getting right now through social media is something, okay, but it's not like how we usually connect with other people. So we have to take this opportunity for our own sanity and for the sanity of others to be able to have to rally the troops and have people together in order to really build those bonds. You can start a podcast, huge opportunity to do that, huge opportunity, and it's not as hard as you think. If you have questions about starting a podcast, just drop a note in the chat, and then I can get you some information on that. Digital target market event. So if you have wanted to emerge into a target market, a specific farm, okay, now is the time because those people are most likely not being communicated with. This is your time to get in there, get your foot in the door, establish yourself as the authority, as the giver, as the server, okay? You will be that person. And if you want to take to the next steps, there's a link there. Nick, you can put that in the chat too. I'm not trying to sell anybody right now, but I'm trying to offer you an opportunity. So if you want an opportunity to check out our mastermind, we have like a sweet deal right now where it's like $47 for the first month and then $97 after. And there's the link there. And then, you get some cool stuff with that. But again, I'm not trying to sell you. This is accountability calls, guest speakers, monthly guest training, group coaching call. You get a ton for what you pay. But anyway, this is an honor to serve and help you grow. I think we've taken it to 75 minutes now. So we're probably just a little too late for questions, I think, but maybe we got 5 minutes. Bill, Nick, you got 5 more minutes?
Yeah, and what I want to leave a thought with everyone. Remember the people that know you, like you, and trust you. Just reach out to those people, okay? Reach out to them on a weekly basis, bi-weekly basis. They're going to want to know updates. Their friends are going to ask them, what do you think about the real estate market? And they're going to say, oh, well, my realtor, Susan McCain, called me last week and told me this or that. So that's just the last thought I want to leave you guys with. You have plenty of time on your hands right now. We're locked down. Educate yourself on the values of communities you might not know, and just reach out to all your clients and keep them updated.
Yeah, and I'll say my last piece too would be to plug in on the different groups. If you guys are not a member of the Sales Commanders group, it's a public free group out there, converting cold leads to closed sales. Join that group. Be engaged in some of the Facebook groups that we're a part of, because we are constantly putting out content on there. And if you ask questions on the group, they get answered. So, if you can't put something a day, if you got to run, we understand. We went a little bit long. But I think it's important, as Bill said, to plug in while we're all, home, and focus on our own business. And so plug in online, connect with us, reach out to any of us on the call, and we'd be happy to help you guys. And we appreciate you all being on the call with us and learning today with each other.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. Thank you, everybody. Nick, Bill, everybody that attended. And if you guys need anything, you can, you know where to find us. So peace out. Have an awesome day.
See you guys.
See ya.